Morning, everybody. 8:20 a.m. It is April 21st. Welcome to my channel. Yesterday was horrendous. So yesterday what I said was we should probably fill that new week opening gap, which we did. Pretty much almost pre-market or at the open. So that was done. Then the market kind of pushed up a tiny bit, ranged, sold off, and the Nasdaq filled the gap, a prior gap, pretty much, almost by a couple ticks. It did, right? And the ES never even hit Friday's lows. And then it was a couple news coming out, and there was a freaking barcode. Horrible, horrible price action. Didn't have a trade yesterday. Okay. Now we continue to have this malaise in the markets. Okay. Just had a momentous move up. Yesterday we closed lower, but barely. This morning we were gapping up. Now we're kind of pulling back. Okay. A lot of things going on. Supposedly, they're going to meet in Islamabad to iron this out. But then Trump just said that Iran has violated the ceasefire multiple times. He is going to be on CNBC at 8:30. I can only assume he might move markets with whatever he says. Who knows? Okay. Who really knows what's going on? Now, just to give you a good barometer, crude is flat. That tells you all you need to know. Okay. And just a little thing on crude, just so everybody understands. And let's say metals, right? They don't move really, particularly on like the other like stocks and stuff like that. They're all speculation. So that's why crude can move higher than energy stocks, right? Metals are all speculation. It's all speculators in those markets. Okay. That's what moves those markets. There's not a fundamental thing in it. It's futures traders. Okay. Alrighty. So that brings us to today. And let's just get right into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile and buying profile to find structure in markets, almost supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That is my edge. That's where I come up with game plans. Now, once that market opens up, I use my bread and butter, my market internals. Okay, weekly expected move indicator you can get for free on my Discord, along with the gamma flip points. A little anchor view ups, little ICT and smart money concepts thrown in there, but really just my own system. Okay, it really just is my own system. I use a little bit of this, a little bit of that, basically. Okay. Now, every morning I do this, so hopefully you can join me. Subscribe, set that alert to give you the market story, the macro news, economic calendar, leaders on laggards, technical analysis, and I leave you off with the long and short trade scenarios in the ES and the Nasdaq futures later on in the stream. Give you a lot of content here, okay? If you want more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord. That is Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Okay. Now, yesterday my edge was no trade. I didn't see a trade. I had my sights set on some setups, didn't come. So therefore, you don't trade, right? Didn't lose anything, didn't gain anything. Okay, that's why I said no trade is a trade, right? That's what edge is, right? Edge is known when to trade and when not to trade for your system, all right? For your process, for your strategy. Okay, let's get right into futures. All right, let's see here. The Dow's leading here. Dow's up over 0.5%. Russell's up 0.36. Nasdaq's up 0.36. 10-year yield is up 0.35. ES up 0.32. The dollar's up 0.12. The VIX is up 0.11. Pretty much a flat VIX. Bitcoin's flat. Say 76,000. 30-year bonds, pretty much flat. Crude, like I said, down 0.09. Before it was literally zero. Gold down over 0.5%. Ethereum down 0.77. And silver is the laggard, down 1.43%. Mag 7 Plus. Amazon mentioned they're going to invest in Anthropic or something. Okay, up 2.42%. AMD's up 0.93. Tesla's up 0.77. Coinbase up over 0.5%. Meta's up 0.46. Is the laggards? Apple down 0.42. GE down 3.33%. Now, I believe GE reported earnings. Let's see. Yes, they reported earnings. They beat earnings, but it says stock turns lower as the earning can't flag despite earnings. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Alrighty. Moving on. Top sectors. United Healthcare reported earnings. Oh boy. I'd love to got in that in the 200s. But it didn't. Up 7.27%. Oracle up over 1%. Palantir 0.80. Salesforce up 0.66. Qualcomm up 0.64. There's really not a lagger here, folks. Really not a lagger. Sectors. All right. That's your Amazon, your XLY, your discretionary, up 0.81. Healthcare, that's United Healthcare, up 0.73. That's also why the Dow is up. Okay. Semis up 0.62. Technology up 0.37. Energy up 0.36. Financials up 0.27. There's nothing negative in our markets today, so far. Okay? So far. Let's go to the economic calendar and then some news. All right, so today we had ADP employment change. Let's see, previous 39K, we did 54. All right, retail sales coming at 8:30. But 8:30, the real news is Trump. Trump's interviewed on CNBC. That is the real deal. At 10 a.m., business inventories. 10 a.m., Fed Chair nominee Kevin Warsh confirmation hearing. Okay. Now, people are saying he's not a dove. Who knows? Okay. API crude to 4:30, Fed Wall at 2:30. Let's go right to Trump's schedule. And here you'll see 8:30, the president participates in a live phone interview with Joe Kernan, Squawk Box, CNBC at 8:30. I am sure he is going to say some stuff. Okay. Let's see if there's any roundup news. I see Amazon to invest at $25 billion in Anthropic. All right, let's see here. There's some red here. Iran has violated ceasefire numerous times. What else here? Apple's John Ternus to become Apple CEO. Cook to become executive chairman. Okay, maybe that's why Apple's down slightly. All right, economic calendar went over. Some other news. We just read the Apple news. SpaceX to woo Wall Street with 3-day analysts meet this week. United Healthcare posts quarterly profit above Wall Street estimates. Amazon to invest $25 billion in Anthropic. We talked about that. Supreme Court to assess FCC power to fine and clash with wireless carriers. Let's see. Palo Alto, let's see here. Berenberg initiates coverage with a buy rating and target price of 215. Okay. Nothing else here, folks. Nothing else here, folks. All right. We are going to look at our market internals from yesterday. And yesterday, tech was actually down early here. Turned positive. This is all from the open. So financials, so a very mixed. Look at this. This is just like you could long or short this basically, but look at that disgusting price action. Whew. Really bad. All right, that's why these equal weight was very divergent all day. Equal weight meaning the equal weighted. If you don't do market cap, which is how our S&P 500 moves, it was very strong compared to the market cap weight. That just means the overall market was moving up without, if everything is equal weighted. Okay. Moving on. Daily charts. Good old dailies. Okay, we had an inside day yesterday and a doji. An inside day, never hit the high, never hit the low. You can see that little, what do you call that? Magenta, maybe? That line here, that's Friday's close. Okay, so we're starting off the week a little negative. Where are we now? 7-11-30. We're up here. We're still gapping up. Okay, let's look at futures. There was that little demand zone I talked about, right? That held true. And then this is where we are right now. We're at last week's high. We hit last week's highs, pulled back a little bit. So it's still bullish. It's the only way you have to look at it. Okay, Qs. So Qs basically hit Friday's close. Not a doji as much, more of a hammer in tech and the Qs. Okay, didn't have an inside day like the ES. It broke Friday's lows. Broke Friday's lows. Where are we now? 649.50s. 649.50s. We're gapping up as well. Let's look at futures. Yeah. See, you hit last week's highs in futures, holding yesterday's highs, holding Friday's highs. Pretty much bullish, okay? Pretty much bullish. Now, I'm not sure if Trump's already on, which I'm assuming he is. Let's see here. Maybe I'll add that audio in the background here. Why is that not giving me a chance to do that? Add. Is that? Hold on a sec, folks. See if I can just add that audio. Yeah, he is. So I'm listening to him now. I'm going to put him very low here so I can hear what he says. Alright, I have him in the background, so he is being interviewed right now. Alright, so let's look at the breadth. Breadth improved over 61%. Okay, stocks over 50 moving average. That's your breadth. We're going to move over to hourly charts now. Okay, so let's go. Let's go and check out these hourly charts. Let me get my marker out. I can't really listen to them in the background. It's very distracting, so I muted it. All right, let's go to hourlies. I think I put that graphic up yet. I think I did, but let's just do it again. All right, let's start up that marker. Just not an exciting market. Just looking at the structure of the candlesticks, it's just really not very exciting. Okay. So the way we're moving, look at it. And then you have, and then you just look at this. This is just like like a turtle. Then you consolidate it, and then you push up, and then you consolidate. There's not much poor structure. Hence, why every move is labored. Okay, there's really no fair value gaps. There's no explosions of prices. Look, see how we just like made a doji? and then we pulled back into demand, right? Got bought up, and now what are we going to do again? Are we going to just range? So you can see in the ES here, this is last week's highs, all-time highs. We haven't quite hit that yet. So the only thing you could do, okay, is look at this area as an area you want to buy. This demand zone starting at 7170s. That whole area, you're going to want to put your money there. That's basically all you could say. Now look at the most traded prices yesterday. Right? It's been supported all night. That's really your line in the sand. 7150s, 7161s about. I'm looking at it now. It is the most traded price in the 24 hours, 7161, about right here. You just want this area defended for bulls. Then you'll have, he must be something, saying something, you know. A little pulse in that candle. Okay. So other than that, right, what could I say? There's no resistance. All you have is all-time highs at 71.85s. And look, you're already getting bought here. What it looks like here, we're going to probably tap all-time highs. Now, do we go straight up or do you get a pullback? Hopefully you get a pullback. Okay? Because this is just not going to be easy to go through. It's just not. Just like yesterday, right? When we had that big candle here, you were in all of this mess. And look, it just labored trend up. Ugh, really bad price action. Okay, let's look at the NASDAQ. Now the NASDAQ came in here, almost filled that gap. I'm just going to get rid of it anyway. There's like the tiny portion of that gap. It doesn't really, it's pretty much filled. There's that new week opening gap that I said would fill. It did. Okay. And now we broke all-time highs pre-market in the overnights right here. Went over last week's highs, pulled back into demand, got bought. Same thing, right? You don't really have, look at this. This was a little more vertical of a buying in the NASDAQ when it came down here. And it was just boom, 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 boom. Then you move sideways, pushed up to all-time highs, and now you have all of this to try to cut through. Okay, now this is a little, I said because it's labored, it's not like a straight shot up. It is like doom, 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 doom. So you could put that in danger. You really need to break this though. That's your 267. Oh, we're getting some. He must be saying, oh, they're showing some kind of video right now just on CNBC. I don't know what that's about, but market doesn't like whatever they were just listening to. So you just took out the last 2 hours. Lows, like I said, you have to get through. Look at that. I have like 3 liquidity levels here. Let's talk about 268s to 26784s. You just want that defended. And then you're going to look at the most traded price of yesterday, which is about 267.30s. Got to defend that. If you lose that, then maybe you can try to go lower. I just think there's so much bullish momentum right now. It's very hard to take this market down now. Shorts are gone. You need new shorts now. And, you know, we're pricing in everything here. So you really don't know, right? You really don't. Like I said, though, that NASDAQ has that support area 268s to 267.84s. You got to watch that. That could cause us to come back here. But other than that, not much to see here. Okay. We're going to move on to the market profile and volume profile now. And it's so interesting that I usually nail pre-market scenarios. And yesterday, there was a new demand formed after my stream. And that came into that demand and got bought. So, and then I said that we should have a range bound market, which was correct, which was what I was thinking. But it's just the market just moved instead of record. So that's why I know my scenarios didn't hit, because like the market did stuff that it's not really supposed to do. So what are you going to do about that? Still was a positive return in trading. So my scenarios don't exactly mean I don't make money still. But you know, generally I hit scenarios. Okay. So here we are at the ES. This is why I love looking at this chart, because it just shows me what's the overnight versus the real-time trading hours. Okay. So let's get into the scenarios for your ES. And you can see here the 24-hour chart has that most traded price of the week at 7160. This is called 7160s. Okay. It's nothing but bullish right here. You got a gap. Okay. So, and Trump's talking. Let's break this out. Okay. So, right off the bat, mark off our levels with the gap. Gap fill is 71.59. 50% retracement of yesterday's range, 71.40s. Lines up with the week-to-date anchor VWAP as well. Okay. And then you have a demand that we're in now. That demand starts at 71.69. A major demand starts at 71.62. Okay. Remember, stay above at least the 71.47s. You're a bull. You really are a bull. Okay. So let's get into scenarios. We'll start off with the bull side. Okay, we're in demand. So this is barely a gap, but it is right now. What do I like to see? Well, what I'd like to see is any pullback in this area. Now, if you go through that most traded price of the overnights to 71.58, you should tag around that 71.48s, yesterday's most traded price. This is really why I want to see the market to see the whole. Maybe even if you dip down to the 50% retracement of yesterday, 71.40s, you push up, you retest the 71.48s, most traded price yesterday, and then you can target overnight highs, 71.83s, and all-time highs, 71.85s, and then who knows how high we can go. Okay, really, any pullbacks into the demand zones I mentioned, okay, are pretty much worth it to take along. Pretty much worth it to take along. Okay. Now, in yesterday's range, okay, because this is such a small window, I would even say a quick move, very quick, into the demand. Same one as yesterday. All right, so this demand here, all right, let's get the exact level. That's around 71.34s. Okay. I need a quick one in here, though. Quick. Quick one into the 71.34 demand. You get that higher low. See if you can get a higher low. And you see if you can tag all-time highs, 71.85s. Obviously, you got to be a bull in this market right now, unless something changes. Okay? Shorts are not easy to come by. They're just not. Okay? They are just not. So, I'm not in love with a short here at all. But I'm going to give some scenarios. Now, if we push up, break all-time highs, you sweep all-time highs, the market's not that strong, you put a lower high in, I would say to target those overnight lows, 71.45. Maybe you can hold on and see if you can try to start to go to the top of the gap at 71.17s. Fill the gap, 72.89s. I do not know if that happens at all. Like I said, I'm not a big fan. If you are short and you want a conservative short, you're going to want to see the overnight lows taken out, which is also yesterday's close. Retest the 71.48s, the most traded price of yesterday. Short there. Target yesterday's lows, 71.21s. And then that gap. Okay. The gap fill 789. Like I said, I don't think those are the plays, but I just wanted to give some scenarios. I'll be on the lookout. Remember, I get new plans when the market opens as well, because you never know. You don't know what the market's going to be doing. Okay. That's ES. Down to the NASDAQ. NASDAQ now is not gapping as we currently speak. Okay. So this is the NASDAQ long and short trade scenarios. Let's break out the session. We are in demand. And I'm going to start off with, well, actually, yes, I'm going to start off with a long. Let's long scenario here. Okay, so we're in demand now. Okay, so what I would say here is around that 268, there's support. Okay, if the market was to push through that, but then recover, sweep it, hold it at 268, you get that higher low, I would say go long. Target overnight highs, 26902s, and then you're off until Never Never Land. Into how high we can go, I don't know. Okay. Now, if you get a deeper pullback, this is a pretty decent one. I'd like a fast, swift move into here. Market doesn't have time to get that weak. And then you're going to come into the area, all right, of yesterday's most traded price, around 267.30s, which happens to be the close of yesterday, week-to-date anchor VWAP, and this demand zone. A lot of confluence here. So any kind of movement here, okay, you bounce, put in that higher low, you go long, targeting all-time highs. Who knows how high that can go. Below the 267s, I don't think I'm a fan of a long. So remember that level, 26700, is a little miniature line in the sand that I probably am not that interested in longs. Okay? Let's go to shorts. Okay. So, two plans that I see that I'm not in love with, because I don't really think that that's the greatest trades right now, are shorts. Okay? Is if we push up, take out the all-time highs, come back into this overnight range, put in a lower high, you short, first target 268s, then you target the 26730s. Now, if you do happen to break this level and find acceptance under the 267s like this, you find acceptance, you can go all the way down to the 26550s. Remember, I don't want a long if there's acceptance under 267. Now, if you're conservative and you're like, I don't really trust this, you'll want to wait for a break of the 267s and find an acceptance. Maybe we retest the 267s, and that's where you short, targeting yesterday's lows, 26569s. Okay? That's if there's some weakness in the market. I'm still leaning long. So there's the scenarios. Okay? Now, let's go and give my overall thesis right now. I mean, Trump's talking. The market's not doing craziness right now. So, again, bullish momentum. We're holding the highs. The market tried to go lower on Sunday, and it's gone. Priced in the little indecisiveness of the market because we thought we had a ceasefire. Now they're going to try to negotiate. Okay, we're still in, I don't know if quagmire is the right word. We're still in this, like, who knows what's going to happen. All I know is we priced in this war. So we need new information, which I don't know what it would be, to take this market down. Otherwise, there's a ton of bullish momentum. And what are we doing now? We're moving sideways, really, as we just had that meteoric rise, building up new value, building up new acceptance of prices to just really go higher. Okay? So today I am a bull bias, unless the market tells me something different. Remember the 267, you do not want to lose that level in the NASDAQ. Let me just quickly look at that ES real quickly. You don't want to lose, let's just say, the 71.50 to 71.48 in the ES either. That's a miniature line in the sand. Okay? That holds, you probably got to go long. Okay? So, that is it for me, folks. Hope you enjoyed my analysis. Smash the like button if you did. Okay, now, as always, I hope you subscribe, set that alert. Okay? Do this every morning. Give you the real deal of the markets, the market story, an economic calendar, the leaders and the laggards, technical analysis, and I just gave you long and short trade scenarios in the ES and the NASDAQ futures. Okay? Now, if you want more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Okay? Probably will go live today, 9:45, 9:50 a.m. Okay? Come join. Ask questions. I will not lead you wrong. Trust me with TA. Okay? Now, we have our plans today. Okay? Remember, no trade is a trade. Hope everybody has a great day. If I don't see you in my Discord, I will see you tomorrow morning. Take it easy.